It's going up forever, Laura. Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, code-breaking news, culture, matic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Today, we're going to ask the million sat question. How much Bitcoin do you need to retire? I don't know, but I'll tell you this. Everyone's got some different opinions about it. So we're going to pull up some of the data. We're going to go through it. If you were to ask Michael Saylor, there's no such thing as having enough Bitcoin. That's why he keeps stacking. I'm on that camp. I don't think that there is such thing as having enough Bitcoin. So I'm going to keep stacking as much as I can. But it is a very interesting question. Like, how much Bitcoin would you need to require? And of course, today is going to be an episode specifically during the news segment of dubious speculation, because that's really what it is. No one really knows where the price of Bitcoin is going. All I know is that I believe it's going up forever because it is Infinity Day. It is 21 million divided by infinity. So I feel like that's a very simple it's a very simple question. And to use Greg Foss's own words, it's just math, right? 21 million divided by infinity. So we're going to cover all of that today. We got a lot of data. We got a lot of things to go over. It's going to be a great show. And we also have some very special guests from up north. So I'm going to bring them up on stage and let them introduce themselves. Chris and Derek, how you guys doing?
Good. Doing real good.
Thanks. Happy to have you guys on the show. And of course, my legendary co-host, who's always optimistic. How you doing, Opti?
I am... Honestly, guys, I might be getting some kind of cold right now, but hey, the show goes on. I don't know. Maybe I didn't eat good this morning or something. Maybe I'm too geeked up on coffee. But anyways, Nico, you messed it up. It's infinity divided by 21 million, not the other way around. I know maths is hard. I know maths is hard, and we're not mathematicians. We're talking heads, but it's infinity divided by 21 million.
There we go.
And also, before we go on, I will obviously be the most bullish one on the show. The question is, how much Bitcoin do you need to retire? I don't know. You guys are sounding way too bearish out there right now. Literally anything you own today will be money you can retire on. I'm convinced of this. But hey, Nico, give us the math. I know you got some data points.
We'll break it down.
It's Monday.
I'm not gonna break it down. I'm gonna use someone else's breakdown.
All I'm referencing is I want to get some Nico Jones rants today. Okay.
Okay, start off the week with some Nico Jones rants. I like it. Anyways, what are we going to talk about during the culture segment with these two gentlemen?
It's what they're working on, their company Juleport, and how you can get paid for heating up your house or your business.
Ooh, that almost sounds too good to be true. Gentlemen, could you give a quick elevator pitch on what it is?
Sure. So Juleport is an innovative immersion company where we provide heating and Bitcoin mining in your house. Simply put, and what we want to do is we want to bring mining back home. That's the push that Derek and I've been working on. I built big mines in the past, in 2017, 18, and I just realized that Bitcoin's just too good to not share, right? There's these big companies and they're profiting. So Derek and I and my team have been working on getting a miner in your house, and our claim to fame is that we use the same electricity twice. How do we do that? So we use it once to mine Bitcoins and once to produce the heat. We pump the heat through your house. It's a great system. It's easy to install, plug and play. Once you got it, you're in the Bitcoin game. As soon as you start your system up, you're mining Bitcoins. And the system's good. It actually pays your electrical bill because, if you're at, say, 12, 14 cents, and then there's money left over. So it provides passive income.
That is absolutely freaking insane. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is, right? Especially, since we heard the news it was late last week, how 51% of the Bitcoin mining hash rate belongs to mining pools that KYC your Bitcoin miners. Home miners are the last line of defense in decentralization. So I can't emphasize it enough, the importance of home mining. And look, you already have to heat your home, especially if you live in a cold part of the world. Might as well just make some sats along the way too, right? So it's super awesome what you guys are doing. Derek, I don't know if you want to chime in before we jump into the show.
Yeah, actually, I do. So you mentioned the cold climate. So up here in Canada, natural gas, which is used to heat a lot of people's homes, as well as to heat your hot water tanks, whereas a lot of the electricity is provided either by hydro or a more and more significant portion is by wind and solar. So what's really interesting about this up here in Canada, we have what's called a carbon tax, which means the government taxes you for giving yourself hot water or for heating your home. In addition to that, they also have what they call the clean fuel standard, which is actually an additional carbon tax. So every time you heat your home, you're actually paying a bunch of that money to the government just to make sure you don't freeze to death. So when you're able to use a mini system from Juleport, you're able to provide that home heating, that domestic hot water, and you're able to avoid the carbon tax. So you're able to provide a greener footprint because you're using hydro or renewable electricity instead of using that natural gas. So keeping money out of the hands of the government, keeping it in your own pocket, reducing your carbon footprint, and stacking some sats.
Oof, that sounds perfect. That sounds perfect. And specifically, that's only something that Bitcoin could do. So really cool. All right, gentlemen, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the show. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to break down. Let's start the show.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, guys, you could also scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to explain to your grandchildren why you lost your generational wealth because you stored your Bitcoin wallet backup seed words on paper. Don't be that person. Store it on titanium. Anyways, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 25,995 sats per dollar, 3,847. Block height 804,245. Blocks to halving 35,755. Halving estimate April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 4,654 Bitcoin. Capacity value 121 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation 1.76%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin $506 billion with the B. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 4.01%. My favorite stat out of everything is the realized monetary inflation continuing to take fiat currencies to absolute school and embarrassing them. Anyways, moving on. Today is Happy Bitcoin Infinity Day. It is infinity divided by 21 million. I think you're right, Opti. I think I got it wrong in the first place. So happy Bitcoin Infinity Day. Michael Saylor is tweeting about it as well. Happy Bitcoin Infinity Day. And he also tweeted this it's interesting because The Simpsons predicts a lot of the things. Like if you see it over a long period of time, and I guess this is one of the Simpsons episodes, and it's like showing the prices of things, like it's a stock ticker, and then it says Bitcoin Infinity, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Maybe it's foreshadowing something. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, this is what I want to talk about today. How much Bitcoin do you need to retire? So inflation is the silent killer. Inflation is the silent theft. If you're in the Gen Z or millennial generation, you have been impacted the most. Life is definitely more expensive than it was for your parents. According to this latest report, Gen Z and millennials need $3 to $5 million to require. It goes on to say inflation has definitely affected the economy badly. Gen Z and millennials who are looking ahead to saving for their retirement need to rethink and restructure their finances. Early reports from 2022 pointed out that they need at least $3 million to have a comfortable retirement. However, another survey by Bloomberg, MLIV Pulse has disclosed that Gen Z and millennials need anywhere between 3 to 5 million to have comfortable retirement. Is the $1 million retirement dream over? The typical retirement savings target has long been 1 million. However, the rise in inflation has led to 3 to 5-fold increases in the recommended retirement savings targets for Gen Z and millennials. The study by Bloomberg found that more than 7 to 10 investors believe comfortable retirement savings should be between $3 to $5 million. Goes on to say, David Goodsell, executive director of the Naxos Center for Investment Insight, stated, one of the key challenges we see in managing toward unknown, we don't know what prices will be in the future. We don't know how long we'll live. And all of that factors into anxiety. The study surveyed by Bloomberg customers who tend to have careers in finance and relatively high incomes compared to average workers, with reports surfacing that U.S. government debt will rise by $5.2 billion every day, and 61% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. There also arises the necessity to ramp up savings to enjoy a peaceful retirement life. Well, you know, we always have this saying in Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin fixes this. And I think this is one of those things that Bitcoin truly does fix, because Bitcoin is a deflationary currency, meaning its purchasing power increases over time. And all of a sudden, saving for the future isn't so daunting. It is extremely daunting saving for the future if your savings are losing purchasing power over time. But the exact opposite happens in Bitcoin. And I'll pull up some tweets and also the website Price in Bitcoin, which is a great resource. But if you were saving in Bitcoin, which is what we recommend on Simply Bitcoin, dollar cost average, stay humble, stack sats, and Vikingo, stay solvent. Check out how life gets actually cheaper over time. It's not about reaching those higher numbers instead of, oh, I hope I want to get to 1 million US dollars. No, now it's 3 million. Now it's 5 million. That's completely absurd. The vast majority of people have on a normal wage, it's almost impossible to reach those numbers. But in Bitcoin, it tells a different story. Here is Jake Jocelyn. He says, a lot of people are talking about a housing bubble. And this is true. Like, if you lived in a big city in the last 2-3 years alone, since, you know, the Fed turned on the money printers because of the pandemic, housing prices have increased like 200%, especially in the big cities. Like, housing has become unaffordable for most people. However, if you're saving in Bitcoin, it tells a very, very different story. Check this out. Why are homes getting so cheap? U.S. medium home price in Bitcoin. In 2012, one home, an average U.S. home, would have cost you 43,000 Bitcoin. In 2013, 19,000 Bitcoin. In 2014, 340 Bitcoin. 2015, 920 Bitcoin. 2016, 697 Bitcoin. 2017, 306 Bitcoin. 2018, 18 Bitcoin. 2019, 78 Bitcoin. 2020, 44 Bitcoin. 2021, 12 Bitcoin, 2022, 9 Bitcoin, 2023, 25 Bitcoin, August 2023, 16 Bitcoin. You guys get the story. I hope you guys get the point now. Saving for retirement on a Bitcoin standard is a whole lot easier. Your life gets significantly cheaper, but it's not only housing, it's basically everything. Check out this website. I absolutely love it. Let's go to commodities, right? So if you've been saving in Bitcoin, everything gets cheaper, right? On a 5-year scale, on a 3-year scale, maybe not on a 1-year scale due to the volatility, but everything, whether that's crude oil, natural gas, gasoline, propane, eggs, cheese, beef, soybeans, wheat, lumber, milk, orange juice, coffee, cotton, cocoa, rice, oat, sugar, corn, everything gets cheaper. Let's check out this. Also, crude oil gets cheaper, gold gets cheaper, the S&P 500 gets cheaper, the US dollar gets cheaper. It's awesome. Bitcoin is awesome. Now, to cover the original topic of the video, right? How much Bitcoin do you need? So this is kind of like a, this is the section of the numbers segment that I'm going to emphasize is dubious speculation, because that's really what it is. But this is one of those, I think this was originally written by Luke. He's written some awesome threads on Twitter, and we've had him on the show, and he's talked about this idea of exponential growth and how human beings have a hard time really understanding exponential growth in things, right? And I think to go back to the original meme in the very, very beginning, I think people don't understand people don't have an understanding of what absolute scarcity is, right? And I think this is why, this meme or this equation is so powerful. It's infinity. So everything divided by 21 million, right? We always talk about gold, how gold is scarce, right? No, gold has an inflation rate every year. And if the price of the price of gold goes up, more gold miners, the production of gold will increase. If the price of Bitcoin goes up, doesn't matter. The production of Bitcoin will stay the same, and roughly every 4 years, that supply gets cut in half, right? So what we're witnessing is absolute scarcity, which is why housing prices continue to get cheaper, which is why everything continues to get cheaper. And on a long time scale, everything will continue to get cheaper. Now, the question is, how much Bitcoin is enough? Now, this is this chart that was part of an article that our buddy Luke that came on the show put together, right? And maybe it is a bit of hopium. Maybe, I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge. But if you would have told me 10, 12 years ago that the price of Bitcoin would be 25,979, when at that time the price of Bitcoin was under $1 or maybe a couple of dollars, you would have laughed me out of the fucking room. You would have said, you're crazy. That is nuts. That's impossible, right? So 10 years from now, I don't know. 20 years from now, who knows? But I could tell you what the equation is. Everything divided by 21 million. So anyway, so let's break it down, right? So it says entity rank, and it tells you how much Bitcoin per rank. So for mega rich / nations, the average amount of Bitcoin for them is 140,000 Bitcoin. For a multi-billionaire or small nation, the average Bitcoin per entity is about 8,000 Bitcoin. For a billionaire / mega rich corporation, it's about 120 Bitcoin. For a multi-millionaire, it's about 10 Bitcoin. For millionaires, it's about 0.06 Bitcoin. For upper middle class, it's 0.008 Bitcoin. For middle class, it's 0.001 Bitcoin. For lower middle class, it's 0.0004 Bitcoin. For lower class, it's 0.0002 Bitcoin. And poverty is 0.00005 Bitcoin. Now, you look at this and you're like, this is a bit of hopium. This is a bit of dubious speculation. But again, look back in time, look at how the price of Bitcoin has performed this whole time. And here's this other interesting chart, which I thought was really, really interesting. And it kind of breaks down Bitcoin wealth distribution, right? And it breaks it down in terms of percentages. So to be in the top 10%, you need 1.28 Bitcoin. To be in the top 9%, you need 1.45 Bitcoin. To be in the top 8%, you need 1.95 Bitcoin. To be in the top 7%, you need 2.45 Bitcoin. To be in the top 6, 3.18. To be in the top 5, 3.99. To be in the top 4, 5.4. To be in the top 3, 7.44. To be in the top 2, 10.56. To be in the top 1, you need 15%. To be in the top 0.1%, you need 89. To be in the 0.031%, you need 215. To be in the 0.01%, you need 433. To be in the 0.003, you need 2,189. And to be in the 0.001%, you need 7,021 Bitcoin. So, a lot of information that I covered. But anyways, I hope you guys found it useful. I hope you guys found it, inspiring, hopeful, but also at the same time, I hope it lights a fire up your ass to stack as much as you humanly can, especially at these prices, because I think next halving, people are predicting anywhere between 100 to 250K, blow off top. I think having one Bitcoin is going to be out of the hands of reach of the vast majority of people, right? So I think the fact that if you get yourself one Bitcoin, you're going to be in an elite few, a privileged few, right? You're going to be one of 21 million people that has the capability of having one Bitcoin. And then one more stat before I pass it on to these gentlemen is the amount, there's estimated to be between 56 to 61 million millionaires all around the world. And if every single one of them wanted one Bitcoin, they physically could not have one, right? Just to kind of break down how bullish this is, what absolute scarcity is, We have a hard time wrapping our heads around that. But so far, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset of all time, right? And it's only been around, less than two decades. I can't even imagine what these next decades are going to show. So anyways, I'm going to cool it down a little bit because I know Opti would just add more fuel to the hopium that we're starting Monday off with. So I'm going to pass it on to these two gentlemen. Chris, what are your thoughts on everything that I just broke down on some of the numbers? Is it too bullish? Is it too bearish? What are your thoughts on what we covered today?
I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Everything you said, I agree with. I've been orange pilled since 2013. Okay, and to your point, Juleport's trying to or set this system up to where everybody can have access to the Bitcoin and the blockchain. There's so much more to what we're doing than just getting Bitcoins. And the other point is the halving. So Bitcoins, we know that the price is going to go up. It's inconceivable that it will go down. So I want everybody out there, if you can get a dual cube system and put it in your house before the halving, it's mining 6.25 Bitcoins right now. So jump on that bandwagon as soon as you can. Like you say, in April, it's going to change to 3.125, which is going to be less, but there'll be, the price will be higher. So my point is, if to your point, get as many Bitcoins as you can. If you have a dual cube system, it's going to help you. It's going to help you get there. Derek?
Hey, so the big thing that I want to touch on that Nico said, with the price of Bitcoin going up, and one of the things that's becoming harder and harder for people to be able to retire on, or especially up here, we've got a huge housing crisis right now. A lot of Gen Z, a lot of millennials have given up on even owning a home. What that's meant is that it's common practice, whether it's here or in the US, that you need a side hustle. You need something else that's able to supplement that income. And one of the actually greatest messages that I think that Simply Bitcoin consistently says is stay humble. Make sure that you're continually working that side hustle as your Bitcoin side hustle. It is not get rich quick. This is a medium, a long-term plan. And Bitcoin provides that freedom for it in order to be able to actually control how you're going to manage your retirement, how you're going to manage your property ownership, how you're going to manage your life. So that's I think that quantifying that down into those stats, that's really what makes sense to the world here.
100%. So again, I'm going to emphasize dubious speculation. Chris, how much Bitcoin does the average person need to retire?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say at the minimum, if you could do it, between 5 and 8, because if the price continually goes up, and it's a reasonable target, like getting 50 Bitcoins, I don't think is a reasonable target. So what can you actually do, and how would you do it? One of our clients that we're signing up right now, he's putting in one of the larger tanks that we have, 8 miners. He's going all in. He wants it, right? So, Derek, maybe you could speak to the numbers. If you have one of our systems and you're running 4 miners, you could probably get a whole Bitcoin in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, it'd be 2, maybe closer to 3 years, but
get a whole Bitcoin with our
it gets significant as you get up there. I think really the question is, what stage of the game are you in? Are you looking to retire at 30 or 40? Are you looking to retire at 80? I'm one of those people that's going to keep working, and I'm still playing rugby, and I'm way too old for that young man's game, which I get informed of every week. So I'm going to be working till I can't. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I want to stay busy. So, when you ask how much Bitcoin are you need to retire, I think, Chris, you're a little pessimistic there. I would say if you had 2 or 3 by the time you're ready to retire, you'll be pretty set for life.
Oof, I like that. I like that bullishness. By the way, guys, I did drop it in the YouTube chat. I dropped a poll. Please make sure to vote, and we'll go through the results at the end of the show. Opti, what's your take? How much Bitcoin do you need to retire? And then I'll answer.
Yeah, first and foremost,
it's going up forever.
So you guys are not bullish enough. No, but let's go back. Let's go back a little bit.
You can ask me again.
No, but that story, I saw that this weekend, and it was kind of on my mind all weekend. As a millennial and a Zoomer, how like the meme of being a millionaire, it's not even up to date anymore, and how $5 to $10 million is the new millionaire. And obviously, as we talk about constantly on the show, like this is inflation, this is the silent theft of inflation, and this is directly correlated to the amount of money that's been printed, guys. Like we got to continue to double down on that message, because still so few people understand how the money mechanics is working. And I'm going to relate a few stories. Like Weinicus, our boy Weinicus, you guys know Wine. I picked him up this weekend. He's at my house, and said he was hanging out with his normie friends this weekend. And they are just completely oblivious to inflation and what's going on in the world. And like, this is where we are. This is why I say we're so bearish right now, because so few people understand Bitcoin. And as more people wake up to what is actually happening, again, the exponentials here is going to go absolutely nuclear. And again, let me double down on this. Like I'm kind of convinced that retirement is a scam. Personally, I think working keeps you sharp. I think that you should want to continue to work for as long as possible. Like staying on your purpose is what's going to keep you living a long, fruitful life. And so I'm not really looking to retire, but obviously the idea of having a comfortable savings, I am a fan of. And it's just absolutely insane that you need $10 million right now to like have a comfortable savings to be able to live a good life in the world that we live in the current moment. I'm nowhere close to that yet, but hey, this is why we work hard every single day to try to continue to stay humble, stack sats, stay solvent, all the things we tell you guys. And I'm just absolutely wrecked. But hey, that's a totally other game here. And shouts out to the politicians that have stolen our futures and print more money. Anyways, all right, to the question of how much Bitcoin we have. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, again, I am kind of joking on the idea of like, you guys are all bearish, but I think those are like good numbers. I kind of jump on the idea of like, if you can get one coin right now, if you guys are new to the game, just stacking a coin right now in this bear market, crab market that we're in, if you have the means and you're able to hold on to that single coin moving forward, like I think maybe this is just my hopium as well, is like, this is going to be enough to retire moving forward. And especially when you give the numbers here, like I think people really, excuse me guys, don't understand exponentials and how few Bitcoin there really is in the world compared to how much money there is in the world. And if Bitcoin is able to soak up a lot of that capital, like we're all too bearish and we don't understand exponentials. And again, talking about exponentials, I was talking to Wine this morning. We literally just had this conversation, and he was like, "Yeah, I just turned 1 billion seconds a little while ago." And they're like, "How long's 1 billion seconds?" It's like 30 something years. I think it's 31 or something. And then we were talking, and I'm like, how long's 1 million seconds? And he did the math. So this is Wine's math. Don't get mad at me. But apparently 1 million seconds is like 3 months, and 1 billion seconds is 31 years. So again, few people understand exponentials. You can't wrap your head around big numbers, and this is the game we're playing, guys. So like, if you're feeling bearish and you're feeling bad about your stack, man, I think you got to wake up to the fact of what the game is going on, and the Bitcoin you hold today, as long as you can hold it long term, is obviously going to be some good generational wealth that you can pass on. But for the culture, obviously the right number is you need 6.15 for eternal riches, and but no, I mean,
well, I hit the mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the meme. But I think the real question here is time span, and that's what they're saying in the chat. And Derek touched on it as well. I think it's the view, when are you trying to retire? If you're trying to retire tomorrow, then obviously you want tens of Bitcoin plus. But if you are like me, who hopefully has another 60 years of working, I think the coin that we are owning today is going to be enough to retire. But of course, hey, I'm a greedy Bitcoiner and I want as many sats as possible under my control. So never enough Bitcoin to retire, Nico, is my final answer. Because I'm bearish. I'm being bearish today.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it really is dependent on time, right? I completely agree. Are we talking about retiring right now? I would agree. If you want to retire right now, I would say probably, I don't know.
100 Bitcoin.
You think so? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted to, keep going and be stupidly rich moving forward. But Nico, you just reminded me of the website Satoshis per person. Again, 8 billion people divided by 21 million. The quote unquote fair share is what, 240,000 sats right now. So like, I just think we're so bearish because we don't understand exponentials and big numbers. So like, just keep stacking.
All right, so I'm gonna end the poll before we move on. But we're gonna switch it up today, Opti. We're gonna go with the culture before the news.
All right.
But I'm gonna end the poll, and the poll says the audience says we had 97 votes, and I said, how much Bitcoin do you need to retire? 30% of you said 5, 25% of you said 1, 25% of you said 10. And 17% of you said 0.1. So it looks like 5 is what the crowd is saying. That's how much Bitcoin you'll need to retire. Anyways, guys, before we get to the culture, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Bitcoin 2024. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's not going to be in Miami this year. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th, the year of the halving. You get your tickets now before the prices go up. For a GA, it's $349. For an industry pass, I highly recommend that one if you're trying to get a job in the industry. It's $849. And for a whale pass, it's $4,749. Opti and I are going to be there. You definitely don't want to miss the biggest Bitcoin celebration of the year, Bitcoin 2024. All right, everybody, let's dive into the culture. Let's do it.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I also want to give a shout out to the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin celebration on the West Coast, October 5th through the 6th in Los Angeles, California. You don't want to miss it. Current speaker list includes Jimmy Song, Lynn Alden, Greg Foss, Alex Gladstein, Corey Clipston, Preston Pish, Stacy Herber, the High Priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, and Stefan Livera. Many, many more speakers to be announced, and they're already included. Opti and I are going to be there. You definitely don't want to miss it. All right, Opti, what are we talking about today, brother?
Of course. Well, we're talking about what these gentlemen are working on. So I like to just give our guests the floor. I don't know if it's Derek or Chris who wants to rehash on what the idea is, but what is Jewelport? What are you guys working on?
Maybe I'll go first, Derek. So yeah, what we want to do is we want to decentralize and Bitcoin and bring mining back home, because I want everybody. Derek and I are both. We want to be responsible people in the community, and we want to give back. So we created this product so that anybody can get into the game and start mining Bitcoin at their home. We've set it up so that you're going to pay your electrical bill, it's going to heat your house for free, and there's going to be money left over. We're suggesting that people pay their electrical bill themselves if they can afford it, and keep as many Bitcoin as they possibly can. Once you've got that system in your house, then you're in the game, and you can keep going. Once again, it's a long-term thing. Our company is going to continually innovate and make our Bitcoin mining machines faster, better, everything. And then there's going to be other opportunities for financial companies to come in, and there's going to be, maybe you can lend out your Bitcoins, make more money that way, as long as you don't get scammed. We believe in custody, that you own, you keep your Bitcoins in your own wallet with your titanium. All of that stuff can help people out in the future. So we're here to help, and we want everybody to jump on the Bitcoin bandwagon.
Love it. Couldn't agree more. All right. Derek, do you want to touch in, or we can jump in on your guys' flagship model right now?
Sure. You know what? That's actually what I'd like to touch in about. The idea behind the Jewel Cube Mini is that it goes in your home. It's able to go into your already existing mechanical room and then tie in to your home heating system, whether it's radiant heating, if you have in-floor heating, or if you have forced air. because we're using immersion technology in order to cool the miners, you don't need to worry about having proper ventilation for the miners itself. You don't need to worry about noise. If anyone who was like me, who was running an ASIC out of the garage back a few years ago, you probably got honestly, even if you were running an ASIC in your garage, you probably got a complaint from my lady, because she got annoyed at everybody who was doing it. By the end of probably the last cycle, we had about 3 or 4 homes on my block that you could tell they were mining at home because their garage doors were open just a little bit, and you could hear the fans running from their ASICs. What's nice about this is because it's immersion cooled mining, it stays in the cube. It goes through a indirect hot water tank, which means that the processed water heats up your domestic hot water tank and then cycles through to either a heat exchanger in your forced air system, through your in-floor heating, through your radiant heating, in order to lower those utility bills. It's great for being able to provide a lower carbon footprint, which I am always considering, and being able to have a way to start mining your own Bitcoin.
Love it. So if you don't mind me asking, what ASICs are you using? Like what's the actual technicals on how this works, like with the Bitcoin ASIC machines that you guys have chose?
So primarily we've been using the Bitmain S19 XPs. Couple reasons for that. It gives you the most efficient terahash per electricity being used, which means once we get to the next halving, you're still going to be in a good place. One of the big things that we also like about it is that the XPs have been very adaptive towards overclocking software, as well as adaptive software. So depending on what our clients are using, if they want to be able to tone down the amount of hash rate they're putting out, lower the amount of electricity that they're using, this is really important in areas like I believe Ontario. I know a lot of states have adjusted electricity rates depending on the time of day. So overnight, you're looking at 3-4 cents per kilowatt hour. But in those high times of usage, you're looking at 15, 16, even 17 cents per kilowatt hour. So having the software available that's able to throttle it, whether it's maximizing the amount of terahash that you're getting, or having the most efficient system, or depending on your needs. If you're in the middle of winter, you need to start generating more terahash, generating more heat, then you're able to have that in place.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm seeing on this website, if they get a Joule Cube Mini, this looks like a different one. Do they just get this box here, or you come in and you install this whole system for them?
So we actually work with local hydronic contractors. So my background actually was in civil waterworks, and I was building my own miners at home, starting off with the GPU rigs and then playing around with ASICs. One of the big things that we do is we work with local plumbing contractors. We work with local electricians. We do this for 2 reasons. Number one, we're not going to travel all around the world to install the machine in your house. There are local experts that are going to be able to do that a whole lot better, because the Joule Cube system works very similar to boilers that are already being used in hydronic heating systems. So what we do is get a local hydronic plumber. They'll be bonded within your area. So that's especially important when it comes to insurance. And they're able to install those systems in there. What we do is we provide the project management. We make sure that they have the right materials and are able to work with their local distribution in order to make sure that they're getting the right products in order to put these in place. So if you take a look at the system as a whole there, you'll see that it has that indirect hot water tank, as well as that liquid to air heat exchanger. That would be ideal for a forced air system, and we'd work with the contractors to make sure that it goes in correctly.
So each house may have its specific metrics that you need. You might not have a forced air system and do radiant, so you don't need one of the pieces. So,
Right.
you know, it's it's pretty cookie cutter, but we look at everybody's house a little bit differently. And then the cube is the main thing. And then it sends heat to the indirect hot water tank. You don't have to take out your other hot water tank. The extraction fan on the other side is if there is extra heat that you don't need, it takes it outside. And so it's a pretty easy system.
Interesting. Well, Nico, you're the in-house miner, or the old in-house miner. What's your thoughts on everything? You got some questions?
Yeah. So back in the day, back in 2016, I was making holes on the side of my house at the time to just vent out the exhaust heat from these bad boys. At the time, it was like what was it? It was the S9 was the workhorse. It was the big bad boy.
I was doing the same thing.
Yeah, me too.
So, but yeah, they were loud. You can hear them. You know, we put them in like the garage that was a bedroom, but we converted it into the mining room. But you could still hear it from the living room. I would call it the sound of freedom. But you know, it's interesting because we're you know, in colder places, you put one S9 in a room and that room's going to get hot. Like it's going to get real hot. So I'm really interested to hear about how you guys managed to pull off the noise. Like, so it's still, you know, I'm assuming it's an ASIC, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's immersion. So we use what's called a dielectric fluid, and the tank has this dielectric fluid. So it's non-conductive, and you just put it in there. There's no noise. It's quiet. Yeah.
That's
there's
awesome.
no noise. And it just, you know, works with, there's a pump in the back. You can barely hear it, right, Derek? We had it set up in
That's right.
a couple places and there is no noise. So we fixed that
So
problem.
it actually uses the same sort of technology. I know I've mentioned hydronic heating before. It uses the same idea as either a boiler system or a heat pump, where it pumps through the system, your heating system of your home, and then through that dry cooler, which would sit outside, which works exactly like a mini split dry fan that's currently being used in hydronic and heat pump installations. So that's where you're able to get that very low noise. And anyone that's got their air conditioner system, their mini split outside of their home, they'll be very familiar with the same type of system that we've got here.
Man, that's really cool. And then there we go. Thanks, Opti, for pulling that up. Okay, interesting. Okay, so you were compared to, let's say you wanted to heat your home traditionally, is this more expensive to install, and then over time it starts to become cheaper because you made an investment? How does this compare to heating your home traditionally?
Well,
So one of the good, if you don't mind, there are two really good things about this. We've got our mini system, which is designed to go into either a new home or into a place that is redoing their heating system. We also have our dual cube renos, and what that's designed to do is actually supplement your current heating system. So if you've got a hot water tank that needs to get replaced, the indirect hot water tank is able to do so. If you've got a forced air system, what we would use is the hydronic loop in that air to water heat exchanger in order to supplement your furnace. So this doesn't replace your current home heating system. This adds to it. So that's one of the things that makes this system unique. We're not asking to rebuild your home. We're asking to make your home better.
Interesting.
And the price point we want to get. So what we're trying to do is we're going to keep it about to 15,000, which is in line with, say, heat pumps or any other systems. Yeah. But the difference with this is that you're making money with our system. A heat pump doesn't make money. It's just a money drain. So we're moving from things that cost you money to something that makes you money. So 15,000, and then you're going to add your miners. You can pick your miners. We left that open because some people, there's different situations where people want more or less heat. Like I said, one of our customers just loves it. He's going to put in 8, and he lives up in Ontario where it's cold, and he's going to run these guys. He's got a pool to heat up. He's got a hot tub. His house is big. He's going for it, and he's really happy about what's going to happen. And it's, even though his price point is going to be above that, he's going to be making Bitcoin right away, and he's bullish on it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it kind of kills two birds with one stone, right? No, Len, we should keep that question up, Opti. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
So it kind of kills two birds with one stone, right? You're using the excess heat, off these ASICs, right, that are making you money in the process, making you Bitcoin.
Yep.
And then you're using that to also heat your home, right? Which is, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's something unique to Bitcoin also, right? You could make the argument, oh yeah, other proof of work coins. Yeah, but that's bullshit. Anyways, could you pull up that question from Big Sean? Shout out Big Sean. Basketball is life. Bitcoin is basketball. How often does I can't say that word, fluid have to be replaced / renewed?
So that depends on what climate you're in.
But first, could you say that word, because I couldn't say it? Dielectric. Dielectric. Okay, it's searching. What is dielectric fluid for anyone who doesn't know?
So dielectric fluid is think of mineral oil or another fluid that's non-conductive. So what that means is that it's what gets used for immersion cooling in systems. Where you're able to put your miner in that liquid, and then it won't short out your machines. So obviously, if you dunked your miner in water, just like if you did with your toaster, that miner is not going to work again. When you have it in a dielectric fluid, it's able to cycle through a heat exchanger, cool off the miner, and keep the miner working.
Gotcha.
And that's important. So, and to answer the question, I would say maybe every 10 years, and it depends on how, like if you put dirty machines in there, like you want your machines clean before you put them in. But yeah, I would say not even up to 10 years. It doesn't really have a life cycle. And we're not that far out. I mean, lots of the big data centers, they just leave their dielectric fluid in forever. It doesn't really have, it doesn't deteriorate. It's in a contained container, so dust can't get in. There's no, nothing can change it. And the other thing about the dielectric fluid is that we can control the heat. So the miners are running at an optimum temperature, and that allows them to, we can overclock them. They last longer. They stay cleaner. It's just a really great system. And they use it in big data centers all the time anyway.
Very, very cool. Okay.
Wait, one last question before we move on, Nico. I know we're kind of running out of time.
We're not moving on. We're just doing numbers, culture, and then we're gonna go to memes to end the show.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a question. There were some questions about maybe doing this in Germany. Are you guys just in Canada? Or like, what? Or are you guys trying to expand? Like, what's the deal here?
Yeah, so we're the R&D, the research, both Derek and I are Canadian, and the original research and development done by myself, and then Derek and I got on working together. But our expansion plan is down into the United States. And if you look at our website, we've got a really great guy down there. His name's Maury Rubin. And he's just a great guy that knows how to start and run companies, bigger companies. I'm not down in the US, so he's our partner down there. And that's going to be our biggest market. We like Canada, of course, we're going to sell them up here, but we're already in the process of setting up a US corporation with Maury. And we're soon going to be able to offer the Mini Mine series and the Jew Cube series to America, to you guys down in the US very soon. Because we don't want anybody to miss the 6.25 and get your stuff in before the halving. That's kind of what we're pushing for. So the sooner you get your stuff up and running, the more sats you're going to be able to stack.
Okay. So if someone is interested in this and they live in a cold part of the world, right? Live in Canada or like North America, the northern states, they have harsh winters, or you live in Colorado and whatnot. What's the process of getting this installed? Does a tech go out there? Is it do it yourself? What is it? What's the process of doing this? And then also, how much does it cost? I know there's a max version, and then there's what are the two products that you guys offer?
Okay. So you go to our website, and there's a form where you fill out and you go, hey, I'm interested in a Jewel Cube. And so then we get that information. We'll connect with you. Each house is slightly different. So depending on the size of the house, we'll recommend what you want and what you get in there. And then basically Derek and I've got it set up. We put the package together. We deliver it to you, gets on your front door. At the same time, there's a plumber and electrician that we've got ready for you, and they go into the house and they, we've got pictures of your basement. We know where everything's going to go, and simply they install it. Derek and I will be the guys at the very beginning who will oversee everything to make sure there's no issues. And for the price point, like I said, we're trying to keep the Jewel Cube mini series about 15,000, and there are also ways to finance it. You could do a HELOC, which is a home equity loan, or there's other financing options, so you don't have to put all the money up front. And then the miners on top of that, if you buy the XPs, they're pretty expensive. I think they're what, 3,200 right now, Derek. So you're talking, $22,000 price point to get in. But like I say, once you plug that in, you're making Bitcoins and you're making money, and your electrical costs are going to be paid, and there's money left over at the end of the month. So it's a pretty sweet system.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And one of the parts about it, we do work with local contractors. So the idea is, even though this is going in your home, we actually say, don't try this at home. Right. Because, I'm sure, Nico, you mentioned that you did a lot of mining at home. I did as well. And I certainly made a lot of mistakes as we started out. I know a lot of people who have done miners at their home that did their own DIY project, and it turned out to not work out very well for them. That's the big reason why, with this being a hydronic system, we work with local contractors who are professionally bonded. So that's one of the biggest things about that. On the electrical side, again, we work with local electrical contractors who are bonded. And one of the big things, when you fill out our form that you're looking for a Jewel Cube in your home, we'll coordinate with you and project manage that. And then what we will do is actually audition the contractors in your area who are able to perform that work. And that's more than anything, is to make sure that you're getting not just the right equipment and the right process, but the right installation in order to make sure that this works.
Gotcha. And then there's the flip side too. There's the educational component. Lots of people don't know that much about Bitcoin, so we help them set up a wallet. There's a variety of products out there of really good guys, like a CoinKite, where you can get a card, just a card. You don't even have to deal with Bitcoins. We want people to take custody of their Bitcoins, so they're not putting it up on an FTX exchange and getting ripped off. So, we provide that educational process there too. One of the other things that we do is we can scale this. So we also have the Jewel Cube Max series. And so that can go for like greenhouses, industrial buildings, hotels, anything with large swimming pools. And instead of like these tanks with 4 or 8 miners in there, we have larger ones that have 24 or 48. And we can produce up to 800,000 BTU and heat a whole hotel, and make money and lower the carbon footprint, just like you would for a house. So it's very scalable. The other thing about the Jewel Cube series is, what I would like to see is the more people that are on board, like just say you had 10,000 houses and everybody was mining, you could have your own pool. We will collectively become stronger and stronger as a group. If you can imagine 100,000 people, say in North America, that had a Jewel Cube installed in their house and they were running 400 terahash, that's a pretty big chunk, of people that would be benefiting from Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's it's decentralized hash rate. Now, one of the things that I ran into when I was mining at home was the actual electrical capacity of my home, right? So do you need to make any changes to that specifically?
Yeah, you do. And actually, I think that someone had a question in your chat, what's needed in there. Usually for typical mini, you do need 2 20 amp outlets. It is at 240 volts. Chances are, if it's in a normal home, you're probably going to need your electrician to come in and do an upgrade on there. That's something that, again, we make sure that we work with local bonded contractors in order to ensure that's done properly.
It's not that big of a deal. I want everybody to understand that he's going to put in 2 or 3 or 4 different breakers with slightly more amperes, like 25 amps. So it's not a big deal. And he's just going to bring the power to wherever the Jewel Cube is going to be. So not a big deal.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, man, you guys are really contributing to the decentralization of the Bitcoin network, and that's awesome. And also, people are able to not freeze to death and make some sats along the way. So that's pretty cool. And if you guys want to check out their website, Opti, could you pull it up, please?
The website? Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to quickly answer one other question I saw on there about miner interchangeability. Like I said, we've been talking about the ant miners that we're using now. We've used What's Miners as well. We've used actually we stuck so far with the ant miners and the What's Miners at this point. However, one of the nice things about this system is that it is designed not for particular miners, but to be able to hold as many types of miners as possible. So as we scale up, as more miners become available, what we're going to make sure is that we have the specific immersion tanks available for any type of miner that our clients will be needing.
Very, very cool.
And
All
one
right,
last
guys,
comment,
go
we're
ahead.
green. One last comment is I just want to mention that we're green, right? The more we can move people off fossil fuels, which is what the governments want everybody to do, we're helping out with that movement too. So we're using more electricity, but we're lowering your carbon footprint.
Awesome. Very, very, very cool. All right, everybody, before we move on to the meme section, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Bitcoin Evangelism. It's a book. You have to get it. It's called Bitcoin Evangelism, Planting Seeds for the Centralized Revolution. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to Amazon. You can get yourself a copy. The great Tatum Turnup once said, Bitcoin evangelism is like if the Bitcoin Standard and Bitcoin for Dummies had a baby. Have you ever struggled to answer your skeptical no-coiners friends' objections? Or maybe you answered it perfectly, but they just didn't understand what you said? Bitcoin evangelism will equip you with an arsenal of simple illustrations to help articulate the tenets of Bitcoin to anyone. Boomer neighbor? Check. Aunt Edna, who is worried about Bitcoin being the currency of the Antichrist? Check. Annoying dude from work that rubs it in your face anytime the price of Bitcoin goes down? Check. What about your crypto friends? Bitcoin Evangelism is the most comprehensive Bitcoin-only book for the entire altcoin casino that will reverse the effects of the crypto brown pill and help more people see a bright orange future. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you directly to Amazon. The author is Bryant DeMint from the Orange Pill app. Grab yourself a copy of Bitcoin Evangelism today. All right, everybody, let's review some memes.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
Kaboom racks. All right, guys, you already know the deal. This is the meme review where you guys tag us on Twitter, Simply Bitcoin TV, or my personal account, Optimus Fields, and I will bring your memes on the show. Also, you can drop them in our Telegram group, t.me/simplybitcoin. And again, I look in there and find the memes. But give me the tweets. I want to give you guys credit. So anyways, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. Continue to spread the signal. Continue to get the calls of actions out there. Anyways, this first meme is by a friend of the show at chairforce_BTC. It's a very simple meme, but I think it's a very powerful meme, especially to everyone out there wondering how much Bitcoin they should own. This is what you need to do. Anyways, Chairforce, there's a little arrow that's pointing to his avatar or his Twitter account. It goes, this person won't be selling their Bitcoin to BlackRock. And then there's another arrow pointing down to the comment section. It goes, and neither will these people. Shout out to Chairforce. Okay, this next meme is by Lena Sisha, and she goes, monetary policy. And it's a little hodler comic, obviously. And it goes, it's time to plan our monetary policies for the coming months. And we got Bitcoin logo here. You know, the little hodler Bitcoin. He's just chilling at the beach, drinking a margarita or a Mai Tai. And it goes, same old monetary policy. The block reward is 6.25 BTC until next halving, which is at block height 840,000. And then we got the US dollar down here. How about the US dollar? What is their monetary policy? And look at the craziness of quantitative easing and all the different mathematical mental gymnastics and the burring going on and the inflation relief packages and the interest rates. and it's the dollar. Just saying, I don't know what the monetary policy is going to be. Imagine not knowing your monetary policy. Just couldn't be me. Can't relate. Anyways, this next one, you guys know how I love the Zoomer memes where they make anything that is relevant and current, and then they make the Zoomer twist on it. Well, we played you guys the song last week of the what's the song? Richmond, north of Richmond. Okay, and this is Rothmus, and we got a picture of the guy, Oliver Anthony, the artist, singing, but it's got the Zoomer twist for you Zoomers out there, and it goes, dead ass because your dollar is mid, no cap, and taxes are big, yikes. Sorry, this one I like. That's the ones that make me laugh, Nico. Sorry. Anyways, this next one is Maxi's Club, and I saw this one. Obviously, Maxi's Club is killing it, but this really reminded me, and it's a real throwback to American HODL's story. I'm sure you guys have heard it. And we even brought up 6.15 on today's show. So if you know, you know. Anyways, we got a family of Bitcoiners. You know, we got you, the Bitcoin Chad, with his wife and 2 kids. And it goes, when you sold a family car to buy more Bitcoins and you're driving your whole family on a scooter. This is what everyone is doing right now to try to get as much Bitcoin as possible. Okay, next meme is by Having Party MF on Twitter, and it's the classic Lisa Simpson's meme where she's got the whiteboard and she's yelling at everyone in the audience, and it goes, there are people who are afraid to buy the dip at 26K, but still think they'd have bought Bitcoin at $10 in 2011. Guys, this is the best time to be buying Bitcoin. I know we all wish we were buying Bitcoin when it was cheaper, but buy today when blood is on the streets, and I think I don't know, whatever. I think we're under 26 right now, but who knows? Whatever. Just keep buying. Keep buying. This next meme is by the BTC therapist, and he goes, just keep buying Bitcoin. Look, we're even on sync. And it goes, the media, Bitcoin crashed 10%. And then it goes, Bitcoiners down 50% already. And it's a Joker, Walking Phoenix as a Joker, and the Bitcoin logo. And it goes, I feel nothing. I am still stacking. This is the way. And I'm actually going hard on the Joker memes today. And we got Bitcoinator on Twitter, and he goes, the real Bitcoiners laugh all the time. And we got the Joker here hysterically laughing and giving out his little card about his laughter. If you've seen the movie, you know the reference. And it goes, please forgive my laughter, but the people are selling the Bitcoin dip. Absolutely couldn't be me. Can't relate. What are you doing? Keep stacking Bitcoin. This is the way. Okay, guys, drop your meme review score over there, the other side, and we will cover them live. Okay, my meme review score today is my almost finished Dr. Bronner's lavender soap. If you know, you know. This is the best soap in the world, period. All right, Nico, go.
Oof. I got myself 2 Madexes over the weekend, and they came with stickers.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be showing those off. This one is tax is extortion. Your government is stealing from you. Inflation is theft. Woo! That's spicy.
What are the what are the art pieces? Are those going to be scores later?
Those are going to be scores. Those are going to be scores. Those are going to be scores. Anyways, Derek, what's your meme
My
score?
meme score, I've got my orange pill energy drink for the morning, making sure that I'm staying awake throughout the day and keeping productive. So it's
I love that.
memes.
Well, I'm glad you clarified,
Great
because
score.
I know Chris asked you, but someone asked it in the chat as well. It's like, wait, you're drinking a beer on the show? No, it's an energy drink, guys. It's an energy drink.
Okay. Sorry, it just kind of flashed up and I couldn't see it there for a second. All right.
I'll have the beer next time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's mine. This is an original Bitcoin that I bought in 2014. I don't even remember the guy that made it, and it was 0.5 of Bitcoin on the back there. And
No.
yeah. This is a little treasure that I keep on my desk to look at it all the time to remind me to stay in the Bitcoin realm.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely bullish. All right, guys, drop your meme scores in the live chat, and we'll get to some of them. First, by Elaine, score the answer to, quote, how much as much as you can get. Absolutely
This
good
is the
score.
way.
This is the way. This is how you do it. Hammer saw, I saw these scores, more exit liquidity. LOL.
Are you going to be covering Binance, Nico? The extra liquidity?
Narwhal tacos. I give the memes my signed copy of the Little Hot. Dude, there's so much shit coinery going on that I'm just saving it all for tomorrow. Like some Reuters just broke over the weekend. Like WorldCoin wants to give IDs to governments. Like it's so nuts.
Yeah.
There's so much shit to cover. We'll get to it. Phil C says, I give the memes the day when America has a Javier Milei. America already had one. He's called Ron Paul. By the way, I think it was just his birthday recently. Apollo 21. I gave the memes a 4-pack of
Ayurvedic mint toothpaste.
Ayurvedic mint toothpaste. It's very specific, bro. I'm sure it's delicious. Big Sean Harris. I gave the memes an inflation target of 0%. That's impossible. All right. Next one by Everyday Walking with Christ says, I give the memes my new MK4 bot with a tone discount. Okay. I like it. Next score by Matthew J. I give the memes the Bitcoin hat that I've been asking for about a week.
All right. I'll clarify. We haven't printed the new batch. Our store is going to get released pretty soon. We will get you a batch of Bitcoin hats soon. Just bear with us, Matthew. Really appreciate it.
All right. Yes, we are dropping new merch very, very soon. Scoring the memes, one fire article from Simply Bitcoin this morning. Accept your sovereignty. Well done. All right. We are out of time. That's the buzzer.
Wait, Chairforce, you did miss the memes. You're literally 2 minutes late.
And you were featured in the memes. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. I'm your host, Nico. Is my co-host, Opti. I want to thank our very special guests, Derek and Chris. Thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find your guys' projects on the interwebs one more time?
Yeah, so please go to www.jewport.com. You'll find everything there. Get in touch with us. We're more than willing to help out.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Appreciate y'all. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share Bitcoin content. This content, other Bitcoin content, don't share shitcoin content. That's counterproductive. We post Monday through Friday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you can't find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitter and Rumble. Shout out to our Rumble audience. The numbers keep going. They keep going up every single day. So shout out to all you guys watching from Rumble. We appreciate you all. Smash that like button one more time. We will see you tomorrow for a brand new show of Simply Bitcoin Live, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, y'all.